All right, hello. I'm here with Danny Webster. Hello, Danny.
Hey, how's it going?
Doing well. Super excited to sit down with you tonight. I know I told you that I had heard your song Nail Biter last year. And I was like, oh, heck yeah, who is this? I got to listen to more of his stuff. So I'm really excited to be actually speaking with you officially. This is awesome.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, of course. So, starting off, I guess, just introduce yourself to the people, talk about like your music, like what you do outside of music, just like however brief or long you wanted to say.
Yeah, sure. So my name's Danny. I live close to Toronto, Canada. Um, I'm a singer-songwriter, musician and stuff. Been doing it for a while. I'm 21. Um, right now I'm working at Walmart, which is no fun. I'm not shouting them out. I'm just saying what I'm doing. They don't sponsor me. Um, yeah, that's all I have to say. That's
All
all I have
right,
to say.
perfect. That's perfect. Well, awesome. So, first question I wanted to ask was, I know you just released a single, right? Soothe Your
Mhm,
Wrongs. Yeah,
mhm.
congratulations. It's awesome.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
I love the harmonies in that. That was really, really cool to hear.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, but the first question I kind of wanted to ask was, I'd love it if you could just, I know you said that that song had been in the works for a while, so I'd love if you could just like walk through like that song, like from the seed of an idea it was until like now, if you wanted to do that.
For Susie Rogers?
Yes.
Yeah, totally. Well, there's actually a sweet story. So my friend and I, right at the start of the pandemic, maybe in late March, I think we were on some substance that I won't disclose. And they were talking about, I think their stomach or their digestive system was upset. And they were like, oh, I just need to soothe my wrongs or something like that. And I was like, oh, I like how that sounds, soothe your wrongs. And I wrote it down on a scrap of paper and I put it in my pocket. Crazy night, right? Wake up the next morning, see the scrap of paper, and then I just couldn't get it out of my head. And I started writing to it. It was coming. It felt like this kind of bluegrassy kind of country thing. What I was writing, and I've always wanted to have a verse where it was like a three-part harmony all the way through, where you couldn't distinguish what the melody was exactly. I just always really liked that stuff with like Beatles tunes and like Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young or whatever, that
Yeah.
kind of style. And so I really wanted to experiment with that. And yeah, that one took a while to get right. It took me a long time to record. Needed some pedal steel guitar in it, which took a while. And yeah, I'm really happy with it.
Yeah, no, it came out amazing. I love how,
Thanks.
I feel like every idea starts on like a little scrap of like paper or something. That's so
Yeah.
special.
Totally. Totally. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I was just kind of curious.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was a really good song. So
Thanks.
definitely check it out if you're watching.
I will. Thanks.
um, and moving on from that,
Yeah.
so speaking of, you've released like two like albums so far, right? Is that correct? Or
Yeah. Yeah. 2 albums. Yeah.
okay, cool.
I have.
And I feel like all across like the board, whenever I was listening through after I heard the initial song I've heard about you, I feel like you have a lot of like differing like sounds and styles and stuff like that. Like I was thinking of like 501 Shuffle was kind of more like harder rock than some of your other
Mm.
songs. Um, and then Home for Supper was more like vulnerable and like really like chill
Yeah.
like that. So I was just curious, like if you had like a goal as far as sound goes, like what you were trying to achieve, or if you're kind of more of like an experimental artist, just like playing whatever comes to your mind.
Um, if it's something for a project, like an album, um, I'm working on another one right now. Big drop, big
Oh
news.
yes,
Um,
okay.
if it's like a big project, whether it's an EP or an album, um, I try and make it somewhat cohesive, but I don't feel that I have too many boundaries artistically. I kind of just write whatever I want to and record whatever I want to. I'm not like, oh, this tune's kind of country, so this next one better be country too. I'm just constantly just doing whatever I want to. Like some of my writing, I think, is really jazz. Some of it is really rock, some of it's really folk, and then there was that one kind of country one. Yeah, I don't have any kind of plan. I just kind of wing it and just make whatever I feel like.
Okay. Well, no, I love that. I was just like, I love
Thanks.
the variety. I feel like it was so cool. But
Thank you. Yeah,
yeah, of
it
course.
just works for me.
Yeah, for sure. Now kind of like a basic interview question that I had for you, but always
Yeah.
interesting to hear about like artist origins and stuff. So where did
Ooh.
like your musical journey like start? Like what made you get into music and stuff like that?
Yeah. So I grew up in a very Christian household. My family was going to this Anglican church my whole life, and I was an altar boy and shit. It was a very like old-fashioned Anglican church,
Okay.
and the music is just growing up. I was just always amazed at how beautiful it was. It was like all these really old like chorales and stuff, and like Bach pieces, and like a bunch of different stuff. And for as long as I can remember, I would just kind of sit there. I wouldn't even sing along to the hymns. I would just listen because I thought they were so beautiful.
Yeah.
And my mother was really into like classical music, and my dad's really into more rock stuff like Rush and Led Zeppelin and a bunch of other bands. Where my mom was like really into old classical music and stuff, and some soft rock. So as a kid, I had those two different kind of sides. Like we had the classical, which was really kind of formal and I don't know, and then the rock side on my dad's side, which was a lot more a little wild, I guess, the wild side. So
Yeah.
having those two influences growing up, I think, was really interesting because, and I think there's a bit of overlap there with stuff like the Beatles, where some of the arranging and stuff is really classical, but it's still rock. So there are a lot of bands that are kind of right in the middle, but just having both those perspectives, it just made me incredibly fascinated with music from the get-go.
Yeah.
I was forced to take piano lessons when I was super young, and I really hated it. Yeah.
Relatable.
Yeah. I just didn't like being told to practice. Like I was forced to practice all the time, and I didn't even really mind practicing, but I hated how disciplined it was.
Yeah.
So I took a break from that, and then around when I was in grade 7, so like 12, I started playing the bass. And got really into that and enjoyed not having to be told when to practice that because I was really into it.
Yeah.
And yeah, then high school started writing, started listening to some different genres like jazz and more pop and all kinds of stuff, and started writing songs, and here we are.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Well, I love that. I feel like
Yeah.
it's cool to see like that. I feel like you got a lot of your different like styles of sounds like from like your parents, like from like different rock and classical and everything. So that's pretty cool.
Totally. Yeah.
See it all come together. But
Yes.
okay.
Toads.
So did you release your first song when you were 17, maybe? Or
I don't know. I think so.
okay.
When I was in, how old was I when I was in grade 12? I think 17. We're 17 when we're in grade 12, right?
Yeah, I think it's about that age.
So yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't even know.
No, you're
Yeah,
good. That's so
I
funny.
think 17. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, it's cool to see people that are like closer to, my age, like releasing music and like being successful in it, which is really cool. So,
Thank you. Yeah, it was. I released that first album in grade 12, and yeah. So that was my first release.
very cool. So I know you already kind of touched on this a little bit, but who are some of your like personal like musical like inspirations? I know you said that the Beatles was people that you took from a lot. Definitely
Totally.
music. Like who else
Mm.
like, where you think of whenever you make your
Oh
music?
yeah, I've got a list.
Oh, very cool.
Beatles number 1.
Yeah.
Number 2, Tame Impala. I love them so
Yeah.
much.
I
Oh
love
fuck, they're
it.
so good.
Yes.
And
Oh
it's
my
just
God.
it's interesting because like a lot of my influences are influenced by each other. Because like Tame Impala loves the Beatles.
Yeah.
Probably third on that list would be Beach Boys. I love the Beach Boys.
There you go. They're good.
Probably not that you asked for them chronologically, but
You're good.
uh,
This.
fourth would be like fucking mm, Supertramp, maybe. I don't
Okay.
know. I love so much music, but those are the big ones for me. So like really, like rock, but I don't know. I just love all their harmonies and their melodies and their writing. But I love so much music. But those are the ones that I think have influenced me the most.
Okay. Yeah, very cool.
Yeah,
Definitely can feel the Beatles influence in a lot of your harmonies.
totally. They're the
Um,
best.
yeah. So going back to kind of how I was asking about Soothe Your Wrongs before, like about how you crafted that song, kind of like related, what's like, do you have like a creative process? Like, do you go through a period where you're like, oh, I'm going to write songs? Or did this kind of pop in your mind and like a poem or something? I don't know how it personally happens for you, but it'd be interesting.
Yeah. I mean, recently I've been working a lot, just trying to save some money and stuff. So I haven't been able to do too much writing, but I think my approach is a bit more like it's pretty disciplined. I like to, what works for me is to like sit down and set a timer and to just grind out something, even if I think it's bad. Um, I find that if I just kind of, wait around for inspiration or whatever, um, I don't know, I get kind of lazy, get kind of unmotivated. Whereas I find that if I sit down and write, whether I'm feeling inspired or not, that I usually come up with something, but I'm like super critical of my stuff. So a good chunk of what I write, I never sees the light of day. But I usually start with, in terms of like the writing, I usually start with chords, unless there's something like a title like Soothe Your Wrongs that I want to work around lyrically. I usually start with chords and then melody and then words. But yeah, it's a very inconsistent and challenging process that I will never feel I've mastered. Like it's so hard, I think. But
Yeah, no, that's
I don't
actually,
think writing is easy.
no, I definitely agree. Not that
Are
I'm the
you
artist.
muted? Oh,
Oh,
that's okay.
oh, sorry.
You're good. You're good.
Not that I'm like personally like a person that puts up music or anything, but I'm always curious. 'Cause I feel like I'm a kind of person that does like poetry first and then like starts
Oh
with
yeah.
music. So I'm always interested in asking, just out of curiosity
Yeah.
myself. But
Yeah.
okay, well, very cool. Well, going on to something, I had a question about your collaboration. I know you work with like Hans Lee a lot on like producing or mixing and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Okay,
Yeah.
very cool. So I was kind of curious how you all two met up and like how that's been to collaborate with him on a lot of songs.
Totally. Oh, hello, person in the background. Um, um, yeah, Hans Lee, one talented dude. So there's a college in Toronto called Humber College, and
Yeah.
they've got this really sweet jazz program. So I studied there for a year on the bass. Did not dig it because I wasn't digging the jazz stuff because it was really intense there. But I met a lot of really, really fucking talented people there, Hans Lee included. Um, he's just so talented with anything musical. Like he's just my guy with like mixing and mastering.
Yeah.
He gives me exactly what I want, and he never lets me down. And a lot of my friends that I met at Humber are also like crazy talented. Like I did a song with my friend Justice Durr. He's like crazy. I've done a couple collabs with my friend Rachel Bobbitt too, giving all the
Yeah.
shout outs to my friends. And like my drummer, Stephen Bennett, is super sick. He's played drums on pretty much everything I've
Yeah.
recorded. Oh yeah, it's a huge list. Just it's like the Toronto community. Yeah, they're crazy talented. And I met all of them through Humber, through my year there.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, yeah, moving on to, so I know obviously, like we mentioned before, Nail Biter is one of your most popular tunes, I would say, like commercially
Yeah,
successful, I don't know. Which is cool. Yeah, you got featured on
yeah.
like playlists and stuff. I'm sure you got like thousands more listeners and everything. So like how was that experience like for you, like kind of experiencing like a big like not big break, but like you know what I mean? Like how was
Yeah.
a big
Well,
experience?
it was a big break for me. Like it was just a huge step. I've always wanted to be playlisted by Spotify.
Yeah.
And I remember, so it really, when did it come out? In like, maybe you would know, March or June of last year?
It was somewhere like in the early
around there, right?
Yeah, I think you were
It's,
my like top listened to song of like some month. I was like, whoa.
aw,
Well, yeah.
yeah. Um, yeah, I was just in Shoppers Drug Mart buying some, I don't know, candy or something, and I got the email saying that it was playlisted and it was put on like Indie All Stars and I think Fresh Finds and a couple other ones, and I was just, oh, it was like one of the best moments of my life.
Yeah,
It's
for
just,
real.
it's something I've always wanted, and um, yeah, I was so pleased.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, super proud of that too, and I think it was a really big step for me, and it seemed to really connect with a lot of people, and um, yeah, so proud of that one. It was I felt so great.
Yeah, for sure. I kind of use the song as like my theme for a friendship that I have because my friend and I both have a horrible habit of biting our nails, and I'm always like, this is
Oh,
disgusting.
me
Yeah,
too,
I
me
know,
too.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's such a problem.
yeah,
So I sent her
totally.
that song, and I was like, this is us. Like, this is
Mm.
us.
I wrote it for you. Wrote it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, nail biting. How long have you been doing that for?
Oh gosh, like too long, probably since middle school, I'd say.
Damn. Yeah,
How about
same,
you?
same.
Oh man, it's rough.
So if you don't want to disclose this, it's okay. But like, how bad is it for you?
Well, actually, right now I'm trying to let them grow, so it's not like you can't really tell.
Okay, okay.
It's not like terrible right now, but sometimes it gets like disgusting. Like I feel the vibes from your song. Like it's like really gross.
Yeah.
How about you?
Uh man, it's bad. Like it's really, really bad. For as long as I can remember, I've been biting, and like there's blood, there's pain,
Yeah.
there's like it's so embarrassing. Like it's not a quality that I like about myself, which was kind of how that song came about.
Okay.
And yeah, here I am. I'm talking to you, and I'm even kind of looking at them like, kind of want to bite that. It's
I know,
like
right? It's so tempting. Oh my
it
gosh.
is like the worst habit, and
Yeah.
yeah, like
Like
it's
a stress reliever though. Like that for me.
kind of. Do
I
you
don't know
just
what it is for you.
like when do you find yourself doing it? Is it when you're like anxious or stressed?
Yeah, exactly. Like when I'm anxious, or sometimes I'll just be like, especially like in the middle of a school project or something, I'll be like, oh, I don't like this at all. I'll be biting my nails, not even realizing it. Like it's so bad.
Yeah, I'm the same. Like whenever I'm no, there's no. It's just whenever. It just happens all the time.
Yeah, there doesn't have
I
to be
can't
one.
even.
That's funny.
Yeah, and it's like fuck. Yeah, it's so bad. I've tried so many things to break the habit too. Like
Yeah.
I actually mentioned a couple in the song and the lyrics, but like I had a for a while I had like a rubber band around my wrist,
Yeah.
and I would like smack it like a weirdo as a kid to try and like discipline myself into like whenever I bit it, I would do that, so my brain would be like, oh, nail biting equals pain.
Yeah.
Um, fucked up stuff like that. And I wore a glove in high school.
Whoa, look at
Like
you. Okay.
no, it's
Real
not in like a cool way.
Yeah.
Just wore gloves, and there's
Wow.
also that I don't know if you've ever heard of that like anti nail biting polish you can get for your
I
nails.
tried that. Yep.
Did it? So it didn't work for you.
No, I mean, nothing will keep me from it at this point. Like, I don't think I have any hope.
Oh, yeah, shit. I tried the polish too, and yeah, it didn't work for me because I found because obviously it tastes terrible, right? The polish,
Yeah.
like that's the point. But I don't know. Maybe I should try it again. But at the time, I found that because I tasted it so frequently, because it was on my hands and like so, touching my food or whatever, touching my face, I would kind of get a tiny taste of it constantly, and I got used to it, and then it didn't really bother me anymore.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
Oh
yeah,
God.
man, I don't know. I don't know.
The universe is against us, but we'll make it out. We'll make it out.
Well, if you figure out how to break the habit, let me know.
Yeah, I'll send you an email.
Cool.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh. Well, I love the little tangent we had. That was amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so I guess the next question I kind of want to ask, it's kind of like this is such like a cheesy, not a cheesy, I don't know. You'll tell me what you
Hit
think.
me. Yeah.
So I was wondering if you had like a particular moment that stands out in your mind, like maybe a concert like that you put on, or like just like process of making music, a moment that kind of stands out vividly in your mind where you're like, oh, I love what I do, like I love making music. Like if you have moments.
Ooh, ooh, that's not cheesy. That's good. That's a good question. Um, hmm. Well, I don't know if this counts, but when I mentioned that morning at Shoppers Drug Mart, do you have Shoppers Drug Marts in the States? Maybe
We do.
that's a
You
Canadian
said that,
thing.
and I was like, is that a grocery?
Oh, sorry,
You're
sorry.
good. I
It's
figured
like
like,
a shit. Sorry. Shoppers Drug Mart. It's like a pharmacy kind of grocery store we have here.
yeah. That's what
Um,
it sounds like. So like I kind of context clues a little,
yeah.
but yeah.
Sorry. Sorry. Um, yeah, that was a huge moment for me, and I was like, this is all worth it because this is such an ecstatic feeling.
Yeah.
Um, Whenever I play live, like playing shows, I haven't played a show. I've got like a backup band with a few of those musicians I mentioned actually. Um,
Yeah.
and I mean, obviously, we haven't played for like a year and a half now because of the pandemic, which is a huge bummer.
For sure.
But yeah, we played some really sick shows in Toronto at these sick venues. Yeah, I haven't really for a while. Like when I was first starting with my writing and stuff, I would go around playing my acoustic guitar and just doing like these solo sets. And I
Yeah.
got super bored of those. And then when I came to Toronto and met these people, like and when I started going into more upbeat stuff that wasn't folk, what I was doing, I started playing with the backup band with my pals, and oh, it's just so much better. It's
Yeah.
just infinitely better. People that like playing your guitar and singing these songs by yourself on stage versus like playing with a band and it's like up tempo. It's like, oh, it's so much more fun.
Yeah.
So
Gosh.
I can't really give you a specific example, but pretty much every show has been amazing.
Yeah.
I There's this one show at this venue in Toronto called the Drake. It's like this hotel, and it's got this suite, a venue in the basement,
Yeah.
and that was really fun because I ate some whipped cream on stage, ate
Oh
some candy, and
yeah.
just kind of dicked around, and it was a good time. But yeah,
uh,
they're all good. They're all good.
Live shows. I cannot wait to get back to them. Let me tell you.
Me too. Me
I'm sure
too.
performing is a little different, but it's still really cool.
Yeah, no, but even I had so many shows I wanted to see 2 summers ago. Like yeah, or once last summer that got canceled, obviously. Yeah, yeah, it's a real bummer. Real
Yeah.
bummer.
Hopefully soon we'll get back there.
Yeah, hopefully.
So I guess whenever you're making music, like do you have in mind while you're making it, like, oh, this is something that I want like the listener to take from this song, or do you just kind of write like from the heart and just kind of let the music speak for itself? I was just, if that makes sense.
Hmm. Like, do I write with the intention of making someone feel a certain way? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, or just like, yeah, exactly. Sorry.
Uh, hmm. No, no. I just kind of write whatever I want to, and like I said, like I don't even think about the genre. I just kind of make what I want to.
Very cool.
Hmm. Well, actually, let me think about that for a sec.
You're
Maybe
good.
that's not entirely true. Sometimes I want to explore a sound that I think people will like, but something I also like. For instance, when I was first starting releasing stuff, it was all like kind of slow folk stuff, and then eventually I was like, huh, like what if I did something a little more upbeat, like a little more indie or something like indie rock,
Yeah.
and but it's something that I knew people would enjoy, that I would also enjoy. So I guess I do that sometimes, but usually like lyrically or I don't know, the feel. I'm not really thinking about other people. I'm pretty selfish. I just kind of write what I want to hear, and
No, it
people don't
works.
like it, then that's okay.
That's
Yeah.
true. I like that. I feel like you have a
Thank
theme
you.
in what you're saying, and it's smart.
Thank you. Thanks.
Um,
Yeah.
so would you have any advice for like people who are kind of like your age or like young, trying to find their way like within the music industry, like what would you be your advice like to them?
Hmm. That's so flattering that you're asking for my advice to give to younger or
Or
other
like
people.
just like how you were able to like be like, okay, I'm making music and now I have like a label and like all that stuff. Like
Hmm. Well, it's kind of the cliche kind of things like work hard and be nice or
works, yeah.
whatever. But yeah, totally. Just to really work hard and surround yourself with people that inspire you and motivate you, and people that are better than you, people that you feel like you can learn from. Like all my friends are just like, they're gods to me. I just think they're so great. And I
Yeah.
think it's a really positive and inspiring environment to be in. It's been super shitty because of the pandemic, because I haven't been around them as much. But yeah, like being in a really good community of like-minded people, and yeah, taking risks, I guess, and just really, really pursuing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was good.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, well, that was all like the written questions that I had for you. If you do you want to
Wow.
add anything or anything?
Uh,
And you can say no as well. Just offer.
no. I mean, I'm working on an album, so if people want to
Yay!
keep their ears perked, and yeah, it's been really frustrating, but I'm working on it, and it'll be great when it's done. But it's not done, so it's not great right now.
That's okay. Well, I definitely can't wait to hear that. So, well,
Thank you
thank
so
you so
much.
much,
Yeah.
Danny.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.